Hello everybody, Electric for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new video. And today, guys, we finally have the reveal of the final archetype from good old Secret Slayers. Now, I don't think I've covered the Eldritch, or whatever they're called, so I might cover them in another video. Actually, let me just double check real quick. I don't think I did cover them, did I? Holy crap, I did not. Yeah, that was in the middle of a very, very busy week for me. But I digress. I don't know. If you guys want to see me cover them in the future video, leave a comment down below. But anyways, we got the final archetype revealed for Secret Slayers, and that is the Snowflowers. Now, we did have the boss monster shown off a while ago, and I'll cover her when we get to her. But this archetype is very interesting, being a water plant archetype. They have a lot of support that they can take advantage of, or just right off the bat with that. But I don't know. I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's get on to this. So first, we got, pardon me, I'm still sick, Snowflower Petal. It's a water plant with cute, really cute artwork. Like, holy crap. Very, very cute artwork. Level 1, 0/0. You can only use its first and second effects once per turn each. During your main phase, you can take one Snowflower monster from your deck, except a copy of itself. Either add it to your hand or send it to graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except plant monsters. That right there is pretty good. You know, just being able to search or send any Snowflower from your deck. That is really good. That can be very, 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 very powerful for all this strategy, depending on how everything else ties together. It's also level 1, so you can get it on the field very easily with 1-for-1. So, incredibly good card right there, just that being a either Searcher or, well, Fool's Burial, which is very, very good. I can't exaggerate how good that is. During your opponent's end phase, if you control no monsters or all monsters you control are plant monsters, and this card is in your graveyard, you can spell summon this card. So it's literally Lone Fire Blossom, well, not Lone Fire, Treeborn Frog for the deck, which is really interesting because, let's see here, level 4s, okay, so we got level 6, 6, 8, 8, which makes sense considering that the boss monster is a rank 8, so, and yeah, it's a shame that it's a hard once per turn, but depending on if we got other special summoning effects, that can be very good for what the deck wants to do. And heck, just in general, a free monster during your opponent's end phase and it doesn't banish itself, that is really good with that. So, very good card all around. I am very impressed right away. Moving on, we got a level 4 Snowflower Sprite Prim. Again, cute artwork. Like, holy crap. Like, honestly, between the 3 archetypes, while Adamantia is the best one in terms of playing so far, I am loving the Snow Fairy archetype in terms of artwork and stuff. Heck, they actually, honestly, the art style and how the frame is set up reminds me a lot of Ghost Tricks. Ghost Tricks will have the character of the card in the middle, and then it has like a frame around it with like a different pattern and everything. So this fact that Snow Fairies do that too, that is very interesting. So very, very interesting right away. I don't know if it's the same artist. For those that don't know, Kazuki Takahashi does not do most of the art nowadays. You can usually tell if it's him because, for one, it's usually a promo, and two, they usually have his name on it, but he has a very distinct art style, and he doesn't do all the art anymore. Even though he's credited, because he's the boss of the company that does this. Well, that makes the art for the cards. I digress. So, anyway, Snowflower, Sprite Prim, Water Plant, effect level 4, 800 attack, 1800 defense. Really wish those are switched around. You can only use each of its first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, if a monster or monsters you control is attributed, you can spell summon this card from your hand in defense position. Pretty good right there. You can target up to 2 plant monsters you control, increase their levels by 2 until the end of this turn, which is pretty good because then you can target the level 6s to make them level 8. Which is pretty good. I'd prefer if this deck also got a rank 6 though, because I feel like it's missing that, but I digress. Anyway, so yeah, that right there is pretty good as well. Don't know how many copies you're going to play of, or depends on what the other cards shape up to be. And then we got Snowflower Sprite Shakira? Another good artwork overall. Oh god, I'm gushing over artwork. Let's get on to the actual effect. So, it's a water plant effect. Again, same thing. 1800 attack, 800 defense, so it's a flip-flop. You can only use each of its effects once per turn. You can tribute this card from your hand or field. Ooh, okay, that's handy. Then target up to 2 plant monsters you control. Decrease their levels by 2 until the end of this turn. Huh. Okay, so you can change the 6s into 4s and the 8s into 6s. Again, this deck needs more Xyz monsters. A single rank 8 is fine, but we need like a 6 and a 4 for our Xyzs. But I digress. Yeah. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was tributed and sent during this turn, you can special summon it, but banish it if it leaves the field. So it kind of sucks that you gotta wait till the end phase, but that is pretty handy. Just being able to just bring it back, and it's an 1800 beater, and more free fodder for other stuff. So that is pretty nice. I don't know how many you're going to play ever compared to Sprite Prim, but so far I'm feeling like Prim's going to be more useful and secure in here, at least at first. Next up, we got Sunflower Sprite Peony, Water Plant, effect 1000 attack, 2400 defense, reverse monarch stats. I like it. You don't use each of her effects once per turn. You contribute 1 plant monster, special summon this card from your hand. That right there is really good. I was kind of worried this is going to be a tribute focused archetype, but hey, well, it is, but they can special summon themselves, not normal summon. If it is normal summoned or special summoned by a plant monster effect, ooh, Lone Fire, or Giga Plant, I can add 1 Snowflower spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. That's pretty handy. Again, I hate saying, like, I hate repeating myself. Am I even recording right now? Good, I am. I'm trying to get used to recording on my other computer because my main work computer is not wanting to work for me right now. I gotta reluctantly upgrade it to Windows 10, and I don't want to do that. But oh well. So yeah, this is really good overall. Again, interacts with good plant support from the past, like Giga Plant and Lone Fire, so very, very, very handy. I really got to see what the spells and traps do before I can say how many you want to play, but generally speaking, a searcher for your spells and traps, that's going to be like a 2 to 3 of most of the time, depending on how good the spells and traps are. Like for instance with Megaliths, I would not play more than one of the spell and trap searcher, but that's beside the point. Next up, we got Snowflower Sprite Erica. Its reverse stats has Monarch stats, which could be interesting. And I think art-wise, I think this is probably my favorite. I don't know, just the cherry blossom theme is just wonderful. So you can only use each of its effects once per turn each. When an attack is declared involving another one of your plant monsters, you can tribute this card from your hand or field, and your battling monster gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of this turn. So it's basically like a mini Colute for plant monsters, which is pretty interesting. Considering the deck so far doesn't have great attack, it's pretty handy. And then if a plant monster you control is tributed while it's in your graveyard, you can spell summon it from your graveyard in defense position, but banish it if it leaves the field. So I'm liking how they're like reverses of each other. Like Sprite Prim summons herself from the hand, while Securin summons herself from the graveyard, and same thing with Peony and Erica. Kind of making me think the level 8s are going to do the same thing. So moving on. Wow, she looks like a character from Tales of Hysteria. I forgot what her name is. The blonde who leaves your game, like your party, like a quarter of the way through. I can't remember her name. So anyway, Snowflower, Sprite Snowdrop, Water Plant, yada yada. Level 8, 1200 attack, 2600 defense. And the viability of the boss monster is going to depend on the viability of level 8. So, you want to use each of their effects once per turn. You contribute 1 plant monster, special summon this card, and 1 other plant monster from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except plant monsters. You can target 1 plant monster you control. The levels of all plant monsters you control become that target's level until the end of this turn. Okay, she is really, really good. You just tribute 1 of your little ones, like for instance, Petal, who, well, can search it. So let's say she's in your graveyard. You special summon her during your end phase. Your main phase, add good old Snowdrop to your hand. Snowdrop effect, tribute Petal, special summon her, and Boris. Okay, that's the name of the other level 8 from your hand. Or heck, even better, depending on whatever this does, you can special summon Erica. Erica will... sorry, not Erica. Peony. Peony will get you a search, and you can target herself. Make all of your plants level 8, and then you can overlay. That is really, really good. A concern of mine is that they lock you into plants, and there's not many plant level 8s. So we'll get to that here in a minute. I want to double check, because to my knowledge, there's only 1 other one. Anyway, so we got Snowflower, Sprite, Helleboris, level 8, 2600 attack, 1200 defense, same, water plant. You know, use each of her effects once per turn. Whenever your opponent activates a monster effect that targets a monster you control or monsters, if you control a Snowflower monster as a quick effect, you contribute this from your hand or field, negate that effect. That is really good. I like that. Just blanket negation of targeting effects while you control a Snowflower is really good. It's got to be a monster effect that's activating though, which does suck. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute one plant monster, special and defense, but banish if it leaves the field. Considering she's just going to go back in your graveyard thanks to using her as Xyz material, I would say that should be pretty fine. Speaking of the Xyz boss monster, let's talk about her. They revealed her a while back, so might as well talk about her separately, I guess, technically. So yeah, Snow Saint Teardrop. Water plant, rank 8, Xyz effect, 2800, 2800. 2 level 8 monsters. Really wish it was 2 level, 2 or more, but considering this is coming out after Master Roll Revision, we can make as many of her as we want per turn, but that's not really particularly useful because you can only use her effect once per turn. Once per turn, you can only use, you can detach one Xyz material from this card and target one monster in the field. Tribute it. This is a quick monster this is a quick effect if this card has a plant monster as material. So while she's generic, if you use her with a plant deck, like her own archetype, that's a quick effect, which can be very, very good, and that can result in just, tributing a monster. There's a reason the kaijus are played so heavily. Tributing is one of the easiest ways to get rid of a monster because there's not many counters to it. Now that being said, this does target, so it does directly affect a monster. It doesn't get around it like a kaiju, which does suck, but oh well. And then also she gains 200 attack for each time a monster is tributed. For each monster that is tributed until the end of this turn, so she gets pretty beefy over time, which is nice, but it's not as important as the quick effect tribute something, which is very, very powerful. Moving on, we got the spells. Normal spell card, Stunning Snowflower. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. You can also activate this card by tributing one plant monster. And notice how that is a completely and totally optional activation cost. That is very interesting. I don't see that coming up too often, like where you actually want to use the activation cost, but maybe it could come up once in a blue moon. I digress. So whenever you activate it, you add a Snowflower monster from your deck to your hand. Then, so it has an effect if you do tribute it. If you activate this card by tributing a monster, you can add a plant monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the first monster, but the same original level. So if you tribute a monster, you get to search out 2 cards, but if you just activate it, you only get to search out 1, which is a pretty, I would say, a good trade-off overall. It does suck that it has to be the same level, which means you can only search 1s, 4s, and 6s, and 8s. But however, you can grab both level 8s and just go off from there, which is pretty handy. So, I keep saying pretty handy today. Why do I keep saying that? Oh well, moving on. Next up, we got Swirling Snowflowers. Spell continuous. You can only use its first effect once per turn. If a Snowflower monster you control is tributed, you can make your opponent tribute one monster they control, their choice. That is mean. That is mean. I love it. Just making your opponent tribute stuff if one of your girls is tributed, which is very, very, very powerful. Then once per turn during your opponent's end phase, if you control a face-up non-plant, destroy this card. For something like that, you gotta have a downside to it, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. And then Silent Snowflower, normal trap. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. You can also activate this card by tributing a plant monster. First, the effect without tributing, you can spell summon a Snowflower monster from your graveyard in defense position. Then, if you tributed a monster to activate this card, spell summon one plant monster from your graveyard in defense position. So, if you tributed a monster, you get double Monster Reborn, which is pretty cool. I like how they are offering you to basically be able to do more if you want to. So, it's not a dead card if you don't have anything to tribute. So, I top deck this. Okay, I can set it, bring back a Snowflower whenever my opponent tries to attack. And hey, if I happen to have a monster, I contribute it and then also get 2 monsters, which is pretty nice. Next up, we got Snowflower Sheet as the final card. Normal trap card. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. You can also activate this card by tributing one plant monster. Target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its effects cannot be activated on the field for the rest of this turn. Then if you tributed a monster to activate this card, take control of that monster until the end phase, and if you do, it becomes a plant monster. That is... that is something else. So, it's a impermanence, effectively, if it's just being activated. I guess a breakthrough skill, really, a searchable one at that. Then if you tribute on a monster, you also get to take something. So it's a Weddle Anchor, basically. It really is. Wow. So, I gotta say, overall, I think this deck looks to be pretty good. It does need a bit more, though. The biggest thing is it needs more than one Xyz monster. A deck focused on summoning a crap ton of a type of monster needs to have more than just one target. And to that extent, let's bring up rank 8 plants. Because I am curious just how many we have. I'm pretty sure there's just 2. Oh, there's 3. Okay. So we got Queen of the Night, number 87. She needs 3 level 8 monsters. Once per turn, during your opponent's turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, then activate one of these effects. Target a set spell or trap card your opponent controls. While this card is face up on the field, that card cannot be activated. Target a plant monster or on the field, change that target to face down defense position. That could be used in combination with Sheet if you really wanted to, but there's no real purpose to that. Or target one face-up monster on the field. That target gains 300 attack power permanently. Yeah, she's not very good. She's meant to be the boss monster of the level 8 plant archetype, kind of. It's more of a series, really. I'll show you guys that here in a minute. They could possibly be used with this archetype because this is a very interesting archetype for that. Then you got Alsea, the Sylvan High Protector. He's the better of the 2 Sylvan Xyz monsters, if I remember right, or 0-3, I can't remember. Anyway, so once per turn, you can declare one card name, excavate the top card of your deck, and if it is the declared card, add it to your hand, otherwise send it to graveyard. If a card is sent from your deck to the graveyard by a card effect, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, then target one card on the field to place that target on either the top or bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect of Alsea, the Sylvan High Protector, once per turn. This is the, pardon me, other big boy that you're going to be playing in this deck, probably. I don't see Queen of the Night being played, except maybe as a beater, but Alsea, along with Teardrop, are probably going to be the 2 main ones until we get more monsters, because Alsea is really stupid. You don't even need to use this first effect. It's nice if you happen to get it right, but however, most of the time you're probably not. So you just, like, I don't know, Foolish Burial or something, effect, detach, put a card on that your opponent controls on the bottom of your deck, well, their deck, and, or if, like, you use the level 1 for the deck's effect, and send a dude to the graveyard, or dudette, I guess, to the graveyard, with her effect instead of adding, you can then use Sylvan High Protector's effect to, well, bounce something, which is pretty good. So, yeah. And then if we look at the number 8s, yeah, Titanial, Myria, Talia, and Cherubime, Princess of Autumn Leaves. Yeah, they were all, like, made of, like, for the different seasons and everything. And they're not bad. I mean, some are better than others, definitely. Like, for instance, if I remember right, yeah, Princess of Camellias is pretty decent. During your first turn, when a card effect that targets a card on the field is activated, you can tribute a place a plant monster, negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. That's basically a on-field version of one of the monsters in this archetype's effects. Then you got Myria, who basically... yeah, you basically, if a plant you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target a card your opponent controls to destroy that target. That's not once per turn, but however, I mean, obviously, if she's out in the field, your opponent's going to pop her first. Talia is like the worst of them. This card gains 100 attack for each plant monster you control. Other plant monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. Yeah, that's obviously the worst. And if I remember right, Cherubime is not half bad. Your opponent cannot target face-up plant monsters for attacks, except this one. He's got 2800 defense. That's kind of mean. If this card is in your possession, is sent to your graveyard, you can special summon a plant monster from your deck, except a copy of herself. So obviously your opponent's supposed to run over it, and then you can special summon it. So that's not half bad. But yeah, that's really all that the deck has going for it for bonus stuff. Rosaria, the Stately Fallen Angels, just... not good. I mean, okay, he's not bad, but he's kind of like a chaos plant monster. It's weird. You can only be summoned from your hand by banishing 2 level 7 or higher plant monsters, 1 from your hand and 1 from your graveyard. And then once per turn, you can negate the effects of all other face-up cards on the field, except it, until the end of this turn. Yeah, he can be good in certain situations, and he's a 2900 level 8, which is very, very powerful, but I don't know. I mean, just the cost really sucks. And, I mean, if you don't do it at the right time, you can kind of screw yourself over. But, however, for testing purposes, he might be worth something to try out. Other than that, I mean, unless you want to mix the deck with Predaplants or Sylvans, there's not much going for this archetype other than, of course, Snowflower, Gigaplant, Miracle, Fertilizer, and all the other really good plant support. But I digress. What do you think of... Oh, wait, they're water, right? Can Salvage add them from graveyard to hand? I'm wondering. It's been a while since I've read Salvage. Yeah, 2 water monsters with 1500 or less attack. So you can add the... You can add a couple of them from your graveyard to your hand with Salvage, which is pretty cool. Again, I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be relevant, but it is something to keep in mind going forward. So what do you guys think of Snowflower? Personally, I think it's a pretty interesting archetype. I would say Eldritch is definitely the worst of the 3, followed by Snowflowers being the second best, and then Adamantia being the best. At least so far. I mean, I haven't played around with this deck, obviously, yet. So this deck could be better for all I know than Adamantia, but I just don't see that being the case. Adamantia has some very bonkers plays that they can do, so yeah. What do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and see you all later. Peace out. Thank you all for watching the video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and see y'all later.